Good
That was a
times.
great time. The Airbnb with you three was fantastic. I love that.
It's very easy to make fun of Wylie. That's it. End of sentence. Like it's just easy.
There's so much fodder. Australian,
Yes,
short.
yes.
You've got it all right there, right?
There's so much ammunition. All right, so we're starting off here. Horse versus fish.
Arch with a slight, felt like control issues there with that wiggling, but what is it? This speed is just so slow right now. What's going on?
Yeah,
They're
this
playing
is
the tank
really
game?
slow.
They were playing the tank game.
Yeah, definitely some slowness on Bacchess's side, as Ferox does have that speed that we're used to him having, just putting out this 6-3 attack.
Yeah. This happened last game, though. Bacchess was like, significantly slower at the start of the last matchup, so I'm wondering what's going on there, if it's intentional or not.
I doubt it's intentional, as plonking isn't as beneficial in this game. I would say, like, you know, waiting for your opponent to send clean is important, but not, like, pretending you have less PBS at the start of the round than you actually do, because people do that in Tetrio and it makes me mad.
Oh god, yeah. I can relate with you to that one. Anyway, so Fotch.
Stop. All right, so that is a
Ferox.
59 and 19 from Ferox right there. That is going to come completely clean on Bacchess's board, as they do misdrop an O piece directly over the well and appears to panic, trying to fix things. So now they have a fractal setup and they don't take it.
Yeah, they didn't get
no.
that piece. Oh my god!
Oh, and then you missed.
Oh, it's like watching a car accident happen. It just gets worse and worse.
Stop.
Like,
And
my god.
Okay. Now it's phase 3. It's phase 3 as both of these players have these clean stuff. I cannot believe that Bacchess just took the washing machine for the fans and then misdropped because of it.
Oh,
That is
God.
insane. I love that. Okay, and then Bacchess misdrops again, which is unfortunate. Kind of pops the piece into the spot, but this is
Oh, the
definitely looking
forecasted-
like a clean runway for Ferox.
The forecasted T-spin there from Bacchess after that entire sequence was impeccable. Beautiful. Loved it.
Ferox with some interesting stacking. Bacchess with the zone right now, as they are going to try to put some pressure on a Ferox board. Ferox definitely preparing for the zone with this 9-0 up stack into a 3-wide. Not taking the 3-wide, just going for the 9-0, which I do agree with.
And already it's 17 lines. Actually with PC parity, but unfortunately doesn't hold for some reason.
That is going to leave a very large chunk on Bacchess's board. I doubt they're going to be able to get through this entire thing, and they are going to be forced to tank a lot of it. And yeah, they have another chunk,
Yeah.
and that misdrop's not great. So they do have an out, though, with that Z-spin. And then
Oh
just, okay.
no. rough
Okay.
indeed.
Okay. And that is going to end round 1 in Ferox's favor.
Overall, not a bad round though. That first round demonstrating how close these players are to each other. And Barch is playing the AFK game. I'm so confused. But we'll just see what their strategy is as we go forward.
Maybe their mom is asking them to do chores.
Mom, stop! I'm playing Tetris against Ferox.
Oh, I can't
Please.
believe you context switch into the American accent for that one.
It's funny. I imagine like you know the Minecraft kid. You know the get out of my room. I'm playing Minecraft. That one.
No, but we're going to continue on anyways.
Do you know what I'm
Both
talking
players
about?
have
Please tell me
full
what I'm
zone
talking
here.
about.
Both players have full zone here.
What?
Bacchess is the first
Oh,
one to
God.
activate it, and then goes into a 4-ride here instead of taking the T-spin. Does come back to that T-spin as Ferox is starting their own zone. A little bit of what looks like ST stacking residue with the giant L spin setup, and
Yeah.
Bacchess
Do
at the
an
bottom of
18
the
as
board
well.
trying to pre-counter for this zone here for sure.
Ferox has the ice skim there, which does get them to the 15 lines, but I mean 51 versus 46 attack is not much. It's not much of a difference.
Yeah, Ferox combo down stacking here as Bacchess is setting up some interesting and mildly questionable setups, but they are going to down stack through this and not need to zone to get out of this for now.
Yeah, fairly decent down stack there. Puts Ferox in a pretty high spot, but they seem to very easily... Oh, they're considering it, and they do in fact go...
The STSD there. Yeah, okay, taking both T-spins there. As Bacchess is maybe looking to pressure with the zone here. There's a lot of skimming at the beginning of this, so like, yeah, I don't know how efficient of a zone this is going to be. There's a TST. I don't know how much that is going to save this, but Ferox has already crossed that 60,000 point mark. And I thought that they were setting up a 4 wide. That's not. Yeah, that's just a 4
Ferox,
wide.
that is. Yeah, it's going to have to be a 4 wide because they can't make the overhang they would need to do anything else with that. And you know what? Their board's in a decent spot. There are no 180s to fix that there. They're going to have to spin that instead like that. Beautiful. And a TST from
That
Bacchess.
works out well for Ferox here. Bacchess does have a nice opportunity here. A lot of attack on the board, but then they misdrop, and that's a couple of tough misdrops to recover from right there if you're Bacchess.
I looked away for like a second and it did not turn out well. They do fix it up pretty nicely though.
Yeah, but Ferox is using that time to get their board in a better state, being able to set up some T-spins here. Ferox at the bottom of the board, pretty unaffected by Bacchess's pressure so far. Setting up a side 4 wide here, starting that now.
This could be pretty big for them. Yeah, it does. Oh, and that misdrop comes at a very inopportune time. They have a full meter. They're not going to use it quite yet. Instead, they're going to set up for the S-spin. Beautiful. And you know what? Bacchess, despite sitting on a full meter, is really like hesitating to activate it because you need to have space up on the top of the board to make use of that full time that you have given yourself.
Yeah, and I don't think that they're going to make use of this, especially with that misdrop there. These are some nice fixes, but Ferox isn't misdropping here and is going to use this opportunity to take the lead. There's that full zone here, as Ferox is going to try to definitely go for height over efficiency here. That's what you kind of got to do in phase 3 with that short timer. It's all about that zone, that height clear bonus right there. And Bacchess is going to be forced to zone at the bottom of the board, not quite seeing the end of the garbage queue yet. So that is definitely a lot to deal with right there.
Ferox with one hell of a spire there, 2 squares and 2 J's on top of each other when the rest of their material wasn't more than 3 rows above the board. That was a lot, but doesn't seem to affect them at all. In fact, if anything, they are definitely in control here.
Yeah, Ferox definitely trying to maintain that control as Bacchess is trying to manage the board, downstack this, and that's another misdrop from Bacchess. That is a nice fix, but every single one of these misdrops is compounding and allowing Ferox more time to do whatever that is.
Yeah, and Bacchess with a pretty resourceful T-spin there, but now Ferox with a full meter here, already at 7 lines with 2 T-spins, is going to be very efficient. Bacchess needs to prepare that eye misdrop. They have to fix it with 2 eyepieces. They now have essentially a 4 wide in the works, and it's not too bad, but with a full garbage queue, yeah, a lot of heavy lifting from that combo there. Oh,
yeah, and
no!
then that misdrop on the eyepiece, that is going to settle that round. That was a little tough to watch.
Yeah. A hung eyepiece, column 2, a tale as old as time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was honestly just the straw that broke the camel's back in terms of the misdrops there from Bacchess's side. It was only a matter of time before one of them caused an issue, and there's another misdrop to start this off.
Yeah, their eye finesse is just not on point today.
I mean, to be fair, eye finesse is one of the most difficult ones.
It's very similar to S and Z's, really. Which just have weird parity.
I think it's more okay. It is similar if we're talking about the middle, but once you get to the edges, the eye spin or the eyepiece finesse is horrible.
Eyepiece finesse is, I think, one of the it's the thing that you learn first and then master last, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You learn how it works first, but then you can't really master until the rest of them are mastered.
Ooh, another misdrop from Bacchess there right at the end of that zone. These are hard to watch, especially when you can tell the exact thought process and exactly where Bacchess is intending to put that piece, and when it just doesn't go there is tough to watch.
Yeah, nice C-spin there.
Yeah, we are kind of at this midpoint here, both at 30,000 points.
Oh, these misdrops, oh god. Okay, there was, oh my god, stop!
Yeah, and that is going to be a 3rd round in Ferox's favor. Maybe not as... Oh my god, this smiley face in Bacchess. Maybe not as close as we expected this matchup to be, but sometimes that happens. Sometimes you're just having an off day.
Bacchess doing the smiley face there. You know that meme of the guy with the happy mask on, but like behind it in rage? It's that sort of energy, you know what I mean?
It kind of is. You're right.
Yeah. Anyway, so Ferox needs one more round to complete the sweep. Bacchess going for a T-spin triple does not,
stack, and so it's not going to work as the C-spin they intended to. I think that they were probably hoping that they could get like a TST, like the full TST, and then a TSS, but they were just one row off from that.
Yeah, unfortunately. If they had 180s at their disposal, then maybe, but no. Oh, greeting for the Tetris does not pay off. In the end, it results in even more burns. And 45 and 18. Ferox has been shown to get 50s in 18, so we'll see how they go.
Yeah, and Ferox ulting, or zoning from the bottom of the board there. It essentially is an ult. You charge it up like one. It's the equivalent.
I'm not gonna riff on you too hard for that. 52 and 19, like I said, they're getting really good efficiency out of those, like what I would consider to be a lower line clear in a zone for a pro player. I don't know, like I feel like it's, you know, 20s are much more common around here. And that iron piece again is snagged.
I like that STSD from Ferox there. That's a unique setup. I feel like I don't see that one that often.
Yeah, in fact, it forced Bacchess to zone there.
Yeah, Ferox is going to be getting close to this phase 3 here. I doubt that Bacchess is putting us over that mark, and they do not, but Ferox is definitely looking to get this into phase 3. Maybe trying to do that before Bacchess realizes that it's phase 3. Bacchess at 54,000 points. Yeah, 2 minutes must notice that it's getting close.
Yeah.
Another misdrop. And another.
Ferox? Oh. The thing about that position they're in is that Bacchess is kind of in a lose-lose situation, because if they don't activate zone, well, they've got a lot to tank, right? But if they do activate zone, they've only got 2.5 seconds, and there wasn't time to upstack to take advantage of a 2.5 quarter zone there after Ferox ticks us over to phase 3. So at the end of the day, another sweep despite it being a close matchup.
Yeah, it was a close sweep.